Good day, everybody. Welcome to Beyond's Morning News Drive. Today we're going to talk about Hyundai. Hyundai this past week on August 30th, they debuted their 2024 Elantra and Sonata. So first things first is just some props we're going to throw out there to Hyundai for keeping the sedans going. They have reiterated that the sedan is a key part of their lineup, and they actually do sell pretty well. The Elantra specifically is a big seller for them. You know, the Sonata has kind of suffered some of the same fate, you know, as you move into that upper, you know, the higher price range where people jump over to crossovers. But they've doubled down on those, and they do have some really exciting news regarding the Sonata to keep it fresh. But first things first, we'll talk about the Elantra. The Elantra is only a couple years into its current design, but they did do a really decent refresh, from my opinion. They did a good update on the front and the back, you know, pretty minor things. The bigger news with the Sonata, with the Elantra, is that they've updated almost everything regarding the electronics. They've evolved them, you know, nothing really major, you know, kind of a bigger screen here or there, some extra more refined safety features, you know, things like they've added phone to open your car. So yeah, they move like 100,000 of those. So I think they always do what needs to be done to keep their products fresh. And you know, kudos to them for rapidly changing. I mean, they'll throw out a design and come out with something new, and they move pretty fast. Now that can be positive and negative. You know, this current design language with the Elantra, I've never quite warmed up to it. My feeling is that they're going to toss that in a few years and do something else if the Elantra keeps going. So if you own a long-term Hyundai, sometimes they can look a little dated given how fast they move. So some new color choices across the lineup, some new wheels options, and then I think for the N line, they even have like a crazy green color they have added. And I like the N line. I think that's the good engine, that 1.6 turbo. Yeah, no mechanical changes at all. Now over on the N, they did announce some changes with the N mechanically. Very, I would call these refinements. They changed the materials in the bushings and the steering system just to give an overall sharper drive. And that N has kudoed all kinds of praise from the automotive journalist world for how it drives. And again, some styling updates on the outside for the N also. On the interior side, they have upped the quality of some of the materials. Again, nothing major there, but you know, what's needed to keep it fresh. Now, I've always liked the Elantra. I think it's a good driving car. It's quiet. You know, it almost has mid-size sedan space inside of it. Overall, it's a great product, and if you're shopping for a small sedan, it's worth a look. Now let's move over to the Sonata. This is where the big news is. The Sonata is a few years into its life cycle, but or its current design cycle, and they completely reskinned the outside. They've smoothed it out. They've made it much more elegant looking. Again, I've never warmed up to the Sonata styling either. I thought it was just a little too narrow and long looking, a little bit like what the Accord just did. But anyway, they made it much wider stance looking. You know, mechanically it's pretty much the same platform. On the outside it looks a lot more elegant, so I think it looks great. And again, a lot of different options on wheels and items like that. The bigger news, actually the big news, is on the interior. They completely revamped the interior, much more elegant and classy looking. I think buyers in that segment are really gonna be attracted to what they've done to the interior there. Now the other big news with the Sonata is on the mechanical side. They have dropped the 1.6 turbo, which again, I've always been a fan of that engine, and they're just going to focus on the 2.5 naturally aspirated. That's a average engine. It'll push it around okay. I just think it loses some of the drivability and the nice flatter torque response of the 1.6. But I think what they're going to do is they're really going to focus on the 2.5 combined with the hybrid. I think their hybrid version of that is going to be their volume focus, which makes a lot of sense. Now on the other side, the other big news is they've added all-wheel drive. They've added their H-Track all-wheel drive option as an option, and again, that's much like what you'll see over on the Tucson. So again, they're keeping that sedan attractive, and they're offering folks in in colder climates an option where they won't have to go to a crossover to get some all-wheel drive capability. So again, a big thumbs up there. Now Hyundai also emphasized that there will not be an N version of the Sonata. They'll just top out at the N line. I think that will have that 2.5 turbo, which is plenty of oomph. Now Hyundai also emphasized that they are well along in a complete modernization of all of their dealerships. So let's hope an improved dealership experience comes along with the physical improvements at those locations. Now, there was no pricing released for these yet. However, they will be hitting dealer lots fairly soon, so we would expect to see some pricing come along, maybe out on their website by now. And again, you can pick up these 2024s this fall as they build up their inventory at their dealer. So let us know what you think about the new sedans. If you're shopping in this category, if you own one, we'd love to hear from you. And thanks for coming along on this morning news drive. We really appreciate it. Like and subscribe, and have a great day, morning, or evening, wherever you may be.